never alone. Flat tire? Lost? Accident? For $10 a month, Hum by Verizon has you covered. And I will come to you in Marion County to install the Hum for free. Time to call me at 352-528-0020. Are you ready to hum along? Call 352-528-0020.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
All right, 20 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. We do the show from the mall. We sit at a window and we look right at the entrance to, well, the back entrance, the south entrance. Mm-hmm. It's not really the back, it's the south entrance, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is we see a lot of people coming and going, and it's kind of a sampling of the world around us and the times that we live in. And, you know, there was a time, especially here in the South, where interracial marriages or interracial relationships were almost unheard of, or were unheard of, right?
That's right.
Right, and in fact, we didn't even swim in the same swimming pools as each other, right? Isn't that crazy? Our theme park. What do you call Silver Springs? I guess it was a theme park of sorts, right?
Yeah, it's a state park.
And so, but I knew back then.
Back then, it was a theme park.
So it was whites only, and then Paradise Park was the equivalent, and it was blacks only. And, and so we were segregated, and so interracial relationships were very rare, and even I wonder if today we know quite a few actual interracial couples. So it seems like it's more accepted today, and I guess everybody's always going to find somebody who's going to have an issue with whatever life choices you have made. Our next guest has written a book that explores some of these things. He is Norman Bacal. He is one of Canada's leading tax attorneys in the entertainment business. He helps finance Canadian films, so he's kind of in the world you're in, Robin, up in Canada, the TV and film world. He's got a book called Odell's Fall. It is a thriller novel, but it does talk about that one social issue of the interracial marriage. So let's find out about this from Norman. Good morning, Norman. Thank you for waiting and for being on the air with us today. Norman, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, now I hear you. Yes. Good morning. How are you doing?
Okay, good. Excellent, thank you. It's cold up here in Canada.
Really? Already? Where are you in Canada? What part?
I live in Toronto.
Oh, Toronto. I love Toronto. Toronto's a nice city.
It's nice. It's very American, but and very clean.
And it's also the city where Suits is filmed, even though they make it look like it's in New York City, don't they?
They do. And in fact, it was shot in the building that I used to work in.
Is that right? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I love Suits. I don't know why they just didn't set it in Toronto.
Yeah.
I think it's designed for an American audience.
Well, you're American, aren't you? Isn't Canada part of North America?
Some might say that, but certainly nobody from Quebec.
So tell me, is the book based on any true story that you yourself lived through or you yourself know about?
Well, the story itself is based on Shakespeare's play Othello. So I took it and I set my characters in modern-day Manhattan, added a few entertainment industry twists to it, and of course played with the plot a bit, and then added a personal story of a friend of mine. And in fact, if you look at the hero of the book, his name is Odell, who's the descendant of a slave and elopes with the daughter of a white senator in Alabama who is completely opposed to the marriage, and that gets into our interracial issues. He's a fellow who's grown up out of a very difficult childhood, and that difficult childhood actually comes from the childhood of a friend of mine.
And is this set in modern day?
It's set in Manhattan in 2015.
Oh, okay. So that's pretty.
And
pretty
so basically, he's Othello the lawyer.
Othello the lawyer. You're getting really good reviews on Amazon. Everybody's giving you 5 stars so far, and the things they're saying, you must love when a reviewer gets the story. When somebody, just the average person who leaves a review on Amazon, was unheard of just maybe 20 years ago, I guess. But now I can write a review. I don't have to work for the New York Times to write a review.
That's right. And it's really nice to hear it coming both from authors, because a number of the reviews come from people who've written books themselves, and from readers, people who love to read books. So I suppose it's really interesting because I've obviously come from the world of law, and everything is judged by client satisfaction. And here we are in a world where ultimately you're being judged entirely by client satisfaction.
You know, the whole idea of the mixed marriage, I don't really like that term, but that's the best way to say it, I guess, is not limited just to racial differences, but I mean all kinds. I'm sure you know that. But it also isn't limited to one side. I knew a couple that were black and white, and both parents didn't approve of the other one. I know, and you have to feel for people. But there's really a real relationship going on, but the people you care about don't see it or don't get it.
Well, marriage is tough enough. And when you have family disapproval issues on top of that, it really adds a strain. And that's the strain I really wanted to look at.
But then you've got Dee and her mom, and her mom is more acceptable of this.
Yes. Well, although, as you see fairly early on, her mother is still shocked that she's gone ahead and done this. Dee is an only child. Her mother thinks she's her best friend, and she's run off and got married and never even mentioned that she was dating Odell. So there's a lot to deal with early on.
But then you have introduced the character of Jackson.
Jackson, the villain, villain. And the interesting thing about this villain is he has some really interesting insights about marriage. And in fact, while Odell and Dee are finding their way at the beginning of their marriage and getting through the physical relationship that kind of masks the fact that they still don't really know each other, Jackson, who's the villain of the book, seems to understand marital relationships a lot better.
And he has an interesting conversation with the senator, it seems.
Well, he's caught in the middle, and something that as an author I really enjoy doing is taking my characters and making them choose between two almost impossible choices. Mm-hmm. So in Jackson's case, he's got to choose between his loyalty to Odell, who's his boss, and the senator, who he believes is sort of the key to his becoming a partner at a very big law firm where he and Odell work.
So now you are kind of straddling both of the worlds of the attorney and the showbiz part of what this is about, right? In your real life, do those two roles, do the people who play in those two stages, let me put it that way, do you think they look at this differently than how do I ask this? I'd hate to generalize, but I mean, somebody who's an attorney, does it look upon this as different than somebody who's in showbiz?
That's a good question. I'm not sure how to answer that. I think the attorneys generally see themselves as assistants to everything that's going, certainly in the entertainment business, assistants to what's going on in Hollywood. So our job is to facilitate making movies or television shows. And we try and avoid anything creative or any creative judgment.
Does this kind of a story resonate in 2019 the same way it might have in 1960?
Well, I think it's very realistic today. It really looks at issues in America, and the racial tensions, particularly in the upper classes, we see aren't a lot different than everywhere else.
Well, Shakespeare really was a visionary, because for you to interweave this and Othello takes a lot of skill.
It was a great challenge, and particularly for a debut novel. I think I bit off a lot and had a lot to learn, which was kind of interesting because I led, certainly as an attorney, and I'm retired now, but as an attorney, I led a charmed life until my law firm collapsed. And this was a law firm I had spent 25 years building. So it was really, for me, life-changing experience that I had to come back from. I had to learn how to write pretty much from scratch, and I spent my career doing things I never thought I was ever going to do. So I never expected I'd be an entertainment attorney, that's for sure. Never thought I'd finance television shows. I never expected I'd be running or building a law firm, and certainly never thought I'd write a novel.
Well, you did an excellent job, because it's a great read, and it really held my attention. And you love to keep people guessing, because that's the mark of a good book, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I spent the first half of the book building it up, and the second half, as you know, the pace picks up. The twists and turns you can't see coming pretty much right until the last page. And really, my job is to give the reader an experience where they can stay up all night reading without having a hangover in the morning.
I love that analogy.
The book is called Odell's Fall. It's written by Norman Bacal, and I have a copy of the book. So if I have a listener who would like this one, give me a call right now, 622-9622. It's getting rave reviews on Amazon. I'm sure you can get it on any place where books are sold. Do you have a website dedicated to your work?
It's normanbacal.com, and it's Bacal, tough name to spell, but you can Google me if you don't remember the website name. And I'm giving away 3 free chapters, so if you want to take a peek without having to go to any great expense, just go to the website. You can download it there or pick it up on Amazon for under $5, cheaper than a Big Mac meal.
Let me give this one away. Good morning. You've got the book. Who's this?
Hello.
Hey, good morning. You got the book. Who is this?
Hi, good morning. May I please speak with Larry or Robin?
Oh, my gosh. Okay, I guess that wasn't who I thought it was. All right, we'll take a little break. Thank you, Norman. Thank you for being on the show with us today.
All right, my pleasure. Have a great day.
We'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Here is your 1-minute news brief. President Trump will be in The Villages today speaking on Medicare. Several areas in the Spanish Springs town